running?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back to part 2. So, I just finished the video. Sister Kate was sitting here, and I said, hey, what'd you think? And she had a thought process, and I stopped her right there. Keep it fresh and crisp. I'm not exactly sure where it's going, but it had merit. And so, just a quick brush up if you're coming at this a week or two later and you're watching them in reverse order. The video before this, I talked about when you have criminally minded kin who say when everything happens we're coming to your place, and what to do about that and things. So we talked about that, and then I said, how was the video? And you said,
what about recruiting those criminal kin of yours to be your blunt force? Because they're those guys. They're already used to violence and so on.
What's that line from The Patriot? Are we that sort?
No, we're the sort that gives that sort a bad name.
That was an excellent point. You know who makes really good guerrilla fighters? Country boys with a mildly criminal bent, right? They're not afraid to do the deed. They're inculcated to violence, those kinds of things. If you've seen The Patriot, they're meeting around in the swamp, and the son is a little bit genteel. He's like a 20-something, and he says, Father, we don't need to be hanging out with that sort, or something like that, or we that sort, or you that sort, whatever. And it's like, no, we're the sort that gives that sort a bad name. So how would you go about recruiting, I don't know, the Leroy Jenks gang, or Jenkins, or whatever his name is, that guy, his gang, that are your kin? A lot of your kin is sprinkled in there, and they're like, hey, we're coming to your place. What would you do?
Me personally?
Or what would you suggest?
Well, first of all, the person who is related to these people knows them better than anyone else.
True.
Right? So I would have to approach those people from an angle that you knew may have some merit with them.
You know what buttons to push and
right?
not push.
Do they want a guaranteed food source? Are they looking to, steal and rob? Do they want to break into people's houses and gather a treasure? Are they interested in becoming the drug lord in the area? Do they want to smuggle things? Because if you are, standing for at least moral neutrality, if not moral over, if you're a pastor, then you're always going to be concerned about bringing people to the Lord. So how many people are going to care about a church building in the apocalypse? Probably none, and would totally expect a pastor to be like, I'm going to pastor that building if no one else is using it.
Keep it on the kin.
Right, but the kith and kin, let's say that your relatives really want to steal things. Well, in the apocalypse, how valuable are a thing of pearls or silver or gold? I mean, eventually they will have value, but in the immediate, things like first aid and ammunition and so on are going to be
so
more
I think
valuable.
what you're getting at is,
let them set up that smuggling net, and then that's a whole nother line compared to you just trying to live and run your farm, is kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah, you got to understand where people are coming from and what they want. You also got to understand what they need. And at that point, in a grid down, Mad Max apocalyptic scenario, everyone's going to need the same things.
Right.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Clean water.
Right.
Edible.
But you got to understand what they want. And if you look at criminals today, they steal, for the most part. I mean, we're not talking about serial killers here.
Mm-hmm.
They steal or do crimes, rob banks or whatever, to get money.
Right.
Okay, but it's not just the money. They're not stealing just for the money. What do they want the money for? Money in and of itself doesn't even make good toilet paper. So what do they want to do with the money? That's what they want.
Right.
And in a lot of cases in today's society, that's to support a drug habit.
Right.
Right? Now, some people rise through that. So, a drug overlord, a drug lord. You could bring it down to your local county level. You know, the guy who's meeting with the cartel and distributing stuff to street dealers, he may or may not do drugs. What is it to him? It's a job. It's just a job. I mean, really, we look at it and go, oh, that's horrible. It's the same thing with pimps who traffic women. It's just a job to them. If they could make money an easier way, in a way that they felt comfortable with, they probably would. And so these people have business skills, right? They have a business mind. They understand how to make a buck, cost benefit. They understand risk aversion or risk mitigation. You know, this is worth doing, this isn't, we can't do this. They're not crazy maniacs. I think getting back to what you said is let them assist in or naturally set up the marketplaces and the things like that. But you got to figure out what they want. And I'll tell you what they want. Initially, they want to live. Right? And so they think, okay, I've got my power, I have my violence, I just want your food and stuff you have, and you're not going to tell me what to do, because you can't tell me what to do because I have my posse. All right, you have to disabuse them of that notion, or you have to convince them that working with you,
right,
as opposed to treating you like prey, is more in their self-interest.
Right. That's where I was picturing, hey, you want to set up that, drug running thing after the apocalypse? I personally think that's a dead-end situation, because so much of the drugs come from outside of our country. But, whatever. That does not have to have anything to do with people just trying to farm. And you can make that deal. Hey, we will feed you, in order for you to give protection to us, and we will, do the intelligence exchange. When we see strangers approaching, we will let your guys know. You guys go take care of that, and we will continue to do our little farm whatever thing, and give you whatever. Now, I don't know the criminal mind. I don't know anyone who's super criminal, but I'm sure there are ways to set that up.
Well, the one way is you have to deal from a position of strength. If you are trying to deal with from a position of weakness, they're going to roll all over you.
Right.
If you're going to deal from a position of fear, they're going to smell it, and they're going to be all over you.
Right.
These are wolves we're talking about.
Right. You don't want to be a sheep.
You have to earn respect.
Right.
You have to demand respect. I was just watching a video that I actually subscribed to the channel because I want to watch a little bit more about what this super ripped ex-con, I can't remember the name of the channel, or I'd tell you. He talks about fitness. His name's Wes something W, Weston or something. And he was in jail for 10 years in California, in like a bad jail, and for buying and selling dope. And now he's like a fitness life coach guy, and he's got something to say. He says it very crudely, but he was talking about respect, and he's like, in jail. Now this is in jail. It's not walking around your town today. If you let somebody call you a punk or a bitch, and you don't immediately swing on them, you're in for a hard road to hoe. It's like you have to fight over that. You cannot let someone disrespect you, or everybody will. See, it's like the wolves, right? When the wolves smell blood, they go for it, and they will eat their own. Actually, I don't know if wolves do that or not, but that's the metaphor I'm using. Because I know somebody out there's like a wolf lover that knows everything about wolves. But you have to demand respect. And so dealing with this criminal kin, you got to understand what they want is to live. That's their number one. And the way they know how to do everything is through their little group of people. And so if you can demand respect, be able to enforce respect, be able to make them do the cost-benefit analysis and go, it's not worth fighting my kin, maybe I can co-opt him or her. If you can do that, I think you can maybe make some things happen. The bottom line is this, it's all easy now when you're well slept and well fed and life is grand to say what you will and will not do. As I say with many things, you need to decide today.
Right. Have that plan. Which
What are you going to do? What are your lines in the sand? What lines will you cross? What lines will you not cross? It'll help you later if you define that stuff today.
Yep.
That card game, Conflicted, I think is an awesome game. We've played it with different groups of people, and some people hate it. They hate it because the questions put you into impossible situations. They put you into situations where there is seemingly no good or correct answer.
Right.
And they force you, if you play the game correctly, to answer the question. What are you going to do? What will you do? Well, I would try to do this. No, that's not one of your options. What are you going to do? It's a great way to get to know people. And I told the people yesterday at the meeting, my secret to that game, I find that game very easy to play. I really do. I can answer a question there like that. I use Torah as my guide, God's law. You'd be amazed at what you can and cannot do vis-a-vis Torah. And so with that, and if you think about it, Torah was given, the law was given, I'm not going to turn this into a religious video, but it was given to the Israelites at a time very much like WROLSHTF, Shahid's fan. They had just escaped slavery. They are out there in the desert, in the wilderness. Sounds like a survival situation, right? And there are bad guys out there. The Amalekites are out there. You know, all the ites are out there.
And problems within the own camp, too.
And problems within their own camp, within their own group of God's chosen people, right?
Yeah.
How do you deal with those things? It's all laid out there. It's pretty clear.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you. That was good. That's a good addition to this.
You're welcome.
We'll call that part 2. Think about these things now. What do you think? What are your plans? What would you do? All right, we'll see you out there.
Shalom.